Welcome back to another episode of the Raise Your Standards podcast. This is a special episode. My name is Joshua Hegg, and I am with my beautiful mother.
Chris Gruber, hi.
And Brittany and I had this fun idea. I traveled home for the weekend, surprise mom. It's a late Mother's Day gift, but decided to come home and have a moment. And Brittany and I were talking about getting content out. And we thought it would be a really cool idea to surprise mom with a mother's version of Am I the Asshole? So, with that being said, I told you this is a surprise for her. She didn't know what we were doing. We always start the podcast, and first and foremost, because I'm with mom, cheers. But we always start the podcast with a fun little moment, and it's obviously between Brittany and myself, but it's how you raised your standard in a relationship this week. We usually talk between ourselves, but it can be with anything. So my question first to you, across any relationship, how have you raised your standard this week? It can be anything.
So how have I raised my standards this week?
Yeah.
There have been a lot of little issues on my plate. I am currently semi-retired. My schedule is pretty set in stone, a little bit on the OCD side. So this week, with all the little extra tidbits that needed to take place, I kicked myself into high gear and really cranked a lot of stuff out.
Okay.
That's not normal these days.
I love that. I definitely think I would go towards a lot of people seem to be having mini to major crises within my life of different calibers, and I've noticed it just one after the other. So I would say my raise your standard in the moment is really emphasizing being there for people. And I think it goes undersaid. And you do a great job with that, where it's listening. And sometimes it's not about necessarily doing something for somebody, but it's just making yourself present and known and having that moment of almost like, I'm here for you. It's like a selfless moment. So I would say that's my,
It's funny you say that. The girl who does my hair, which wish I would have known, I would have coiffed.
yeah, but I didn't want you to get all nervous about us doing this.
Anyway, the gal who does my hair had a hysterectomy, and the doctor had
Oh,
punctured her small intestine in the process. She had just gone to court. This was her court date week, and let me know that it was taking place. I went to the trial. I sat in for moral support for her. Unfortunately, I just got news that she did lose the case, but she really did appreciate the fact that I was there behind her. I had her back.
it's huge. It's like,
Yeah.
I had a conversation actually with, I think it was Brittany, it might have been you, but it was just about like in relationships. It's just sometimes it's almost like an old school slide projector and you're just there at the right moment in the right time. And that's, I think, very important. And I think we need to kind of step outside of ourselves and like, if you're thinking about somebody, call them, right? Like I called my best buddy today. He's moving today. And I called him. And it just so happened that when I called him on the random moment of the day, he was at his absolute lowest. That's the way the world worked. And he vented on me for about 20 minutes and he felt great and went on his way. And so it's just like, I don't know. I think we each can kind of raise our standard moving forward of just like take that moment and have a little bit of a selfless thought.
Did you ever have someone that you haven't talked about or thought about for a long, long time all of a sudden fly into your brain
Mhm.
and you have to call? Eventually, initially you fight it, and then eventually you give into it and give them a call, and something
Yep.
big has happened in their lifetime.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, and I'll just preface this for those watching, listening, the young lady here and I have a tendency to chit chat. We
No.
could easily run this for 2 hours. We're going to move through it. And I'm going to do the first one. There's one very specific one that I'm going to give her a second, but I'm going to show her the ropes here. And so basically we have these up. You're going to read them as is, and then you give your opinions on them. And it's
Okay.
see. And I have one ready for you.
Dear.
So here's my first one. Letting my 9-year-old walk to the bus stop alone is giving me whiplash. Single mom in a suburban neighborhood here. My 9-year-old has been pushing for more independence lately, And the latest request is walk to the bus stop by herself. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? The walk is about 6 minutes and has a strolling pace. There are sidewalks most of the way, a few drivers, and one quiet street crossing. I can see the first half of the route from our porch, but not the actual stop. It is not a busy road, though some drivers cut through the neighborhood in the mornings. She can be surprisingly responsible. She sets her own alarms, can make her own breakfast if I lay it out, and remembers her library books more often than I do. Still, she is 9, and mornings can be unpredictable. We did a few practice runs together, went over not getting into anyone's cars, talked about what to do when she misses the bus and where to wait if it rains. I also tucked a small card into her backpack with my number and a neighbor's, and I pass a few minutes on my phone playing missed play while I'm waiting to see her turn the corner. Today was the first day I stayed home and watched from the porch instead of walking with her. She looked so grown up and so small at the same time. I spent the next 10 minutes staring at the clock like it was my job. Moms who have done this, how do you decide it was time? Any practical safety routines that help calm your anxiety and without making your kid feel like you're hovering?
Fortunately, your bus stop was around the corner, and I could see you from the moment you left our driveway to the moment you got on the
We
bus.
had a pretty substantial hill, so it was, a still a distance, but you could like
Yeah,
wave and still see.
right. The main part was making sure you stayed safe in the street. However, our house wasn't too far from school and very, very walkable for a 4th grader, because that 9 years old, you're in 4th grade or the beginning of 5th. Um, I think if I couldn't see the entire route, I probably would have walked half of it with you, the part that I could see, and then
Stood at the corner.
stood there and let you go by yourself for a week, maybe 2, make sure that you handled all the crossings on your own by yourself
Yeah.
perfectly, and then backed myself off of it so that you got used to going on your own.
Yeah. What's funny is in a preschool, I had asked my mom to stop the car about 6 blocks up, that I was going to walk to school on my own. Clearly, it set the tone for a life full of adventure. I think so. Like getting a little bit bigger, a little bit deeper into it. I think it, from my eyes, would be dependent on where you live. Like right now, we're in rural Pennsylvania. Walking down and around the corner, I would have no issues with. Living in Los Angeles, absolutely not. And it's a weird time. People are doing some weird things. I'm not getting into any touchy-feely stuff in terms of like the weirdness, but like a comment here is I live in Switzerland. It's normal here for kids to walk to school
Kindergarten.
unaccompanied from kindergarten.
Mhm.
So around 5, parents and caregivers walk their kids for the first term, maybe the first year if they are nervous. After that, they tend to form packs and go off on their own. So
That's key.
it's location now of the packs.
The
Yeah.
packs are key.
Now, I'll say like Los Angeles for us, everyone's all strewn across. Plus, you have to travel immense distances to some schools. When I was young, when we were in the house when I was little, my elementary school was maybe 6 city blocks down,
Not even.
not even. And like, we didn't do it, but I could absolutely walk there. But then when I went to high school, it was a 35-minute bus ride. So it kind of evolved, but I think this hit the nail on the head of location, I think, would be a
Location.
little bit more important than necessarily the age, I guess. Do you have a minimum or like what's your bottom line?
Of walking?
Take my mental state out of it of being like, Mr. I can do everything myself. How young would you have let me walk to the bus stop?
Where we live, probably 2nd grade,
Okay.
1st or 2nd grade.
What about this? What about in this situation? How young would you have been?
In the situation is terms of what?
Well, they have this corner. It's about, 6-minute stroll. Like I'm talking with this. How young would you have let this 9-year-old walk?
Probably 2nd grade. Like I said, I would have
You know,
walked
to the corner,
halfway,
to the
and
corner.
where I couldn't see her from the house or you from the house,
Yeah.
and then I would have stood there and left that continue for several weeks.
I'm in Ireland and my son's school is a 3-minute walk from my house. My son is 3, but I'm fairly convinced he could make it himself.
3's a little young.
He could as easily see a squirrel. Just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go follow that."
That's right.
I don't see any edits here. There's renter's insurance. Then I have someone who's like, "This threat is so wild to me. Where I live, it is literally illegal for kids
Uh-huh.
to be unattended, including walking to school if they're under 12." I don't necessarily think this is a good thing, but really demonstrates how nanny state some of the laws are where I live. Nanny state?
Nanny state. Helicopter.
Oh, got it, okay.
Yeah, helicopter. Actually, there's definitely a black and white situation here. You're gonna have parents that are all in. You drive your kids to school, you don't even let them ride a bus. And then there's the other parent who lets the child walk the entire time. I believe it's as a parent, it is our job to teach our children to be independent adults. So when you have children that you've loved, you've nurtured, you've given them the life skills that they need to survive on their own, and they decide to go to college and never come home, you can't beat yourself up over the fact that you don't ever see your children anymore. Really, it's telling you that you've done your job right
Yeah,
because you've given your kids the confidence to face life.
right. Get out on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have children that refuse to leave the nest and are always living in the basement or always living a house next door, there's something in both of you that needs to still be so connected. And either one of you will feel very insecure without the other one being around. I've noticed that a lot in several of the families around me here. And I have both absolutely,
Polar opposite.
yeah.
Yep.
I go to the class reunion and the parents that the kids are living out of state are all saying the same thing. They never come home. I never see my kids. It's terrible. Or you have the other ones where I can't get the kids out of my house, but I'm so happy that they're there. And it's like, okay,
Walking the line.
yeah. Am I the asshole for sitting on public toilet seats and not telling my boyfriend? Asking his mother during this. When I, a 27-year-old female, need to pee in public, for example, at a restaurant or gas station, if the toilet seat is clean, I will sit down on the toilet to pee. If it has a little bit of pee on it, I will wipe it with a tissue before I sit down. My boyfriend of 3 years recently learned this when I made a passing comment about sitting on a porta potty. And he
Oh,
is absolutely horrified, really grossed out that I have had sex with him after sitting on a public toilet seat and likens it to him wiping his dick, thank you, Josh, on the lid of a toilet, or that he is putting his mouth in people's poop particles when he goes down on me. I asked a couple of friends, and so far the consensus is that I'm definitely the gross one and I should always hover to pee. I feel like I'm going crazy. Am I the asshole for sitting on public toilets? The boy is going to die after this.
so what's your thoughts?
Okay.
Don't hold anything back. Just have at it.
I was always taught to cover the toilet seat with
A bird's nest.
my nugget of knowledge for the toilet seat with toilet paper. And as a habit, I continue to do that. However, there would have to be atomic bombs going off and fires around me for me to sit on a porta potty pee hole. I would never in my lifetime do that.
Mind blowing. Mind blowing.
Ab-
And then to do sexual things.
After.
God. So I am absolutely against it. And I am a little bit of not germaphobe, but I definitely like cleanliness. And so, like, if Brittany and I are out at anything, whether it's a festival where there's porta johns or even out to dinner where you're sitting on benches and things like that, I won't necessarily do some things because of the cleanliness side of things, right? And I think there is a very fair expectation of showers. So, am I the asshole for sitting on public toilets and not telling him? No, but you shouldn't be doing the sexual things with all those like, do you like,
No.
I think this is a baseline of like, do you have like public health concerns? Like,
Right.
do you care about him at a health level?
Right.
I think it's absolutely unruly. Now,
Well, in addition, at times, a female has to use a male bathroom at a gas
they're
station.
disgusting.
Reality sets in that that's just the case. They're absolutely disgusting. So to go to a porta potty that both male and female use, you're sitting on that. That's that's gross. Absolutely. Yeah, to have sexual relations after that in any form.
right?
In any form.
So someone wrote in, you're not the asshole hovering, right? But ladies, you are the ones who make the toilet seats dirty and disgusting for the rest of us. Someone fired back. I cannot believe that hovering ladies don't realize that. They are the ones making it gross. Someone fired off on that. They realize it. They just don't give a shit.
Oh.
It's the same with women who line the seat with toilet paper and then just leave it there when.
Oh, yeah. Agreed.
So, hovering is okay. Lift the seat. So that's, I think, the argument here is if you're hovering, even in the men's bathroom, women's, and there's the seats down, spray happens.
Yeah,
Keep the seat up, then hover.
true.
I still even like you're going in a porta john, we're going to a festival or something. I'm coming home, and personally, no matter how randy you might be, I might be, I want to shower after I just spent 12 hours sweating at a festival. I don't want to do.
Shower together, make it fun.
I got one for you. This one's going to be good. You want a drink?
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for telling my mother in law she's not allowed in the delivery room? Hello. I, a 27 female, recently married my husband, a 27 male, back in May of this year. My husband and I recently found out I was pregnant and are very excited to be first time parents. However, there's an issue with this family. For context, my husband's family is very large and very close. Because of this, there are some boundary issues. My husband's parents had 2 kids, my son-in-law, sister-in-law, the 29 female, and my husband, the youngest. Whereas I am one of 3 sisters, and me being the middle child. Both my older and younger sister have the children of their own, and I have learned boundaries when it comes to posting their children on social media. I usually post their kids' hands or backs of their heads because I respect my sister and their wishes, probably not to have them on social media. My husband's family disregards this notion and will post whatever. Recently, a friend of ours is due to give birth, and my mother in law stated she couldn't wait to meet the baby before they leave on New Year's trip that was planned a year ago. Now, I know I'm wrong here when I asked why she would think said friend would allow visitors since it's holiday season and people tend to get sick. She gave me a look but didn't respond. Now, a week ago, I found out I was pregnant, and my husband, bless him, was so excited he told his parents and sister. Soon, I got flooded with congratulations texts from his extended family, which infuriated me since I don't know how far along I am. I told my husband I'm very early, not out of the woods yet, and possibly having a miscarriage. I just learned that that's a whole thing, and you have to wait. It's like 6 weeks. I didn't. I just found this all out from a client. Last night we had dinner at his parents' place to celebrate the news, but also go over expectations for future news that we want privacy and to set boundaries. Once dinner was in full swing, his mom had started asking us about our birth plans and when she thinks I'll be due so she can ask for time off. She asked what hospital and decided what hospital we decided on and she couldn't wait to be in the room. She then mentioned to have a room ready in our house so she can assist us with the baby. I looked at the husband and back at her because she kept rambling on and not allowing me to speak up. Finally, I cut her off and told her it's just me and my husband that'll be in the room only. Once we get home, we want a week to ourselves to enjoy the baby. For her staying with us, I thanked her for kindness, but she won't be living with us. She looked offended and said her son would want her to be there. I looked at my husband, and he told his mom that he agrees it should only be us in the room and no one else. My father in law, bless him, tried to diffuse the heated discussion, but stating to his wife that it's okay and times are different now than they were. She somewhat simmered down and asked once I found out the gender if I can allow her to do a gender reveal. I told her we don't know or we don't want to know the gender and it'll be a surprise. She said, "That's okay. Bring me the ultrasound photos and I'll know." I so badly wanted to respond back to her, but honestly, I was so emotionally drained. I stayed quiet to the rest of the night and have been a tad distant to my husband. Today, I got a text from my husband's relative stating I was an asshole for telling the mother in law she can't be in the room and am robbing her of that experience. Reddit. Am I the asshole for telling my mother in law no? Frickin' loaded. there's a lot to it.
That's a
That's why I wanted to read
tough.
this one. There's a lot of different layers there.
There
All right?
sure are.
Let's answer the
Uh,
first blanket. Is she the asshole for saying no to the mother-in-law for being in the room? This is the actual, like, delivery room.
well, there's the I got
Delivery
kinda
room.
2 things.
Delivery room.
Delivery
The
room,
real question is, let's
absolutely.
be clear, am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law she's not allowed in the delivery room?
Well, again, I think there's black and white in society right now. There are some families who want all the extended and everybody else in that room with them as they're pushing and carrying on. There are others who want to keep it an intimate setting between themselves and their husband. There are either others who don't want even the husband in there.
Interesting.
I don't necessarily think she's the asshole for the delivery. For the delivery, she is not the asshole to have people respect her privacy.
Why?
It's a very revealing time.
That's where my head goes.
I mean, she is exposing herself. In all honesty, when it's happening, you
You're
don't
not even
even
thinking about
care. It's like, sure, you're an intern from Namibia. Come on in. You don't care. Just get this thing out of me and get it out fast. If it's a C-section, that's a whole other ball of wax
surgery.
because
That's surgery.
you can't
Yeah,
go in there.
that's surgery.
However, if it's a natural birth, she has a right to her privacy at that point. I believe she is not the asshole. However, when she starts to regain her composure, she's going to be exhausted. She's going to look like the cat drug her in from a flood. She may not want people to see her for vanity's sake. She just wants quiet. She doesn't want to be entertaining, blah, blah, blah. I believe the people that are going there are not going to see her. They're going to see the baby. And if it's the grandparents, they put you on this earth. And yes, I think she would be kind of an asshole to keep them away from the private room. Once she goes back to the room and they bring the baby in the little bassinet, give her some time.
That's where I'm saying is I think this is in stages.
Yes.
I would agree with mom here. Not the asshole for the delivery room.
Uh-uh.
And this was our first comment here. Your body, your baby, your boundaries. And I agree to that.
Yeah.
Hey, this is about you and the baby and the husband. And even
Yes.
more so about you and the baby. That being
Correct.
said, I kind of see it in stages. I think there needs to be definitely that bonding moment for just the family unit. Quiet, the three, the whole, what is it called? Where it's like skin
Bonding.
time,
It's
like
bonding.
that moment where it's the first time holding them. I don't think anyone should be around for that.
Sometimes they even try to nurse the first few seconds
Right.
out.
I think each parent should have their moment, quiet, no one else. And then truthfully, I think it's more on the father in this moment to then navigate the situation of either bringing parents in, taking the bait. Like the mom needs to be able to have her space to also recoup a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think,
Absolutely.
and I don't think the husband did anything wrong here. It sounds like his mother is very excited. I don't want to say overbearing. It just sounds like she's very excited
Yeah.
and she's allowed to be. But at the same time, he needs to draw the line by what the mom and him talk about, by what the wife and him
Yeah.
talk about for his family. It's on him. So honestly, you should be putting it on your husband. You shouldn't have
Yes.
to tell his mother,
Yes.
no. He should have to tell his mother, this is what we've decided. Please respect this. But
Right.
on the other hand, they should be the first ones in, like, okay, we've had our private time. Now who are we inviting in?
Right.
Grandparents should be the first ones
Right.
in my eyes, and brothers and sisters,
That's right.
right? Like
That
immediate
that's
nip.
right. That's
That's
right.
where I would take it.
Right.
They're all pretty much they're all pretty much right on point with what we said. Her husband doesn't actually have the right to even be in there if she doesn't want it. Do not tell anybody what you think, right? When you're in labor, it's all about you. You're not
And
the
the
asshole.
health and
Everyone is agreeing with us down the line.
And then when you get
If
back
the
to
mother-in-law wants a magical experience, she can go to
Disney World.
and that's how the family gets torn apart. Tune in next week. Oh God, that's great. Oh, that's great.
That's a good
Um,
one.
would I be the asshole if I do nothing for my husband on Father's Day? My husband, 28 male, and I, a 23-year-old female, have been married for 4 years, and we have 2 children, a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old. We have had many discussions over the years and how I would like him to do more on holidays, specifically my birthday and Mother's Day, as I feel he has lacked effort when it comes to that. This year on my birthday was the first time I had seen him show any real effort. He bought flowers, surprised me with cheesecake and mini golf, and even wrote a lovely card. I was ecstatic. But Mother's Day rolled around, which I reminded him of several times,
Mm.
and I was expecting something or anything, but nothing came. I had booked a hair appointment for myself, which got canceled. I wanted to sleep in, but couldn't because the baby woke up early. There were no cards, no flowers, nothing. We did get coffee that I was grateful for, but we do that every Sunday. So I asked if he could at least clean the house and give me a massage. He agreed, but it never happened. The worst part of it all, though I reminded him to, he didn't do anything for his own mother. Even my 3-year-old picked me flowers from the yard. That's adorable. Anyways, Father's Day is coming up, and I am thinking about doing nothing for him in return. Important information. His excuse for not doing anything has always been that his love language is not gift giving nor acts of service. So it's just not something he thinks about. So maybe if it's not something he cares about, he won't mind if I do nothing. Of course, I will still have the kids do something for him. He is their father after all. However, I myself would not be partaking. Second edit, for those asking, yes, I have been doing things for him. Over the past 5 years, I have given him lots of physical touch, planned surprise parties, takes him on vacation, bought him expensive gifts, thoughtful gifts, etc., all for his birthday, Father's Day, and holidays. But I've never received anything back unless I get it for myself. This is not meant to be a revenge or a tit for tat. It's simply if he says he does not care about things that I do for him, why should I keep doing them? So, would I be the asshole for doing nothing for my husband on Father's Day? Okay. The edits were important there.
The edits are very, very
Yep.
important. If you did nothing, yes, you'd be an asshole. But it is your job as the parent of those kids to teach them how to recognize their father as their father. If your father is still alive, you make sure that you recognize your own father, and then you purchase gifts or cute little doings from your children to recognize him as their father.
Yep.
You need to be the teacher here. So yes, if you do nothing, you failed that test.
I actually love this because she took that in such a different direction than I would have ever gone, and she's 100% right. It kind of just stopped my argument in its tracks because, well, the woman hit the nail on the head with the love languages thing, and I don't know how much anyone listening you know about the love languages, right? We have give and receive. They can be different, and you usually have a primary and secondary. We like to give one thing and get a little bit of it too, give a little bit of as well. We like to get one thing and a little bit of as well. At some point when you fell in love with this person, you understood at a root cause that their love language might not be aligned. And it doesn't sound like he has always been giving gifts and then has stopped. It sounds as though he's never really done it. And so my thing is like, you kind of knew what cookie you were getting before you even got in there. If you're doing this, in my opinion, if you're doing it out of spite, you are the asshole. If you're just going to let it go and it's fatigued you and it's just, what am I doing here? I do believe you have that grace. Now, going off of what she said, that's where it like my answer, because you are setting the tone for the kids. And, I've been blessed I have two parents who give very, very differently when it comes to their type of love. And that's been so interesting for me to experience in terms of watching myself grow and how I then give love. And at the end of the day, think at root of it all, you have to just do what makes you happy. If you love giving the husband gifts, stop worrying about what you're getting in return. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. I understand you might need things in your relationship. You're tired. You need to feel appreciated. You need to be spoken to. You need to be loved and communicated. All of it. But if you love giving gifts, give gifts, right? Brittany's not here. Brittany is an incredible baker. She loves acts of service. I don't care if you do anything for me. I'm very self sufficient. I'm usually the one cleaning. I go out of my way to try and hopefully make her life a little bit easier because she loves having little things done for her. That's the like love moment of doing something small, doing the dishes for her, right? She loves to cook. Oh, babe, I got it. I'll do the dishes. It's an act of service. I do it because I love her and because I want to do the thing. Like, I do it because I want to do it, not because I'm expecting something in return for her or physical touch. Like, does that make sense?
We should never, ever, ever do anything expecting
But I think
return.
so many people do. This is
They
this is
do.
a perfect example.
But if she is concerned about what she's going to be getting in return, or she never gets anything from him, blah, 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 her to him is anniversary. Her priority, once she brought children into this world, is to teach those children how to be good spouses.
Right.
So you give them all the tools that they
Right.
need to become that. If they happen to come across a spouse that their love language is receiving gifts, you've taught them how to do it.
Yeah.
You've also taught
Yeah.
them to think beyond themselves and their own personal needs. Maybe they don't want to give their parent a fishing pole. Maybe they don't like to fish, but dad does. So if I buy a fishing pole, I'm giving him something that he loves.
Yeah. It's
It's
so complicated.
Yeah, you have to take yourself out of yourself. Life in general, I think, would be a much better place if people would put those around them as their focus as opposed to themselves.
All right. We got a really interesting comment here. It says it's not the asshole, and that is the lamest excuse I've ever heard of. But yes, if that isn't his love language, he won't miss it. Someone fired off at this. It's also wrong. The book is BS, but the basic premise makes sense. People have different ways of feeling and expressing love, and being a good partner is communicating and meeting them where they're at. So if he actually read the book, he would know that for Mother's Day, it doesn't matter what his love languages are
Mhm.
or aren't. It's about hers. If she wants gifts and acts of service, if he loves her,
Mhm.
he would do it for her.
That's
So it's
right.
surprising that this person said all this, but then said the book is BS because you just literally quoted the premise of the book.
Right, right.
Her not doing any gifts or acts of service for him because those aren't his love languages would actually be in keeping with the book, right? And so it's basically like if his isn't giving gifts or service and you're not giving her gifts or service or anything like that, he's not even going to see the loss. It's on moot ears, right? Let's be honest. He doesn't care about love languages or the book. He's just lazy and unappreciative. I doubt he spent quality time with her or gave her words of affirmation either. Probably just physical touch. And that's what, truthfully, that's what I think this sounds like. Is it
It
sounds
does.
like a downclining relationship that they're missing each other on fundamental blueprint
Right.
moments, and that you can be in different love languages. I just think men a lot of the times don't have the emotional IQ. They don't take a step farther to learn what their partner actually looks for, actually wants, actually
Yeah.
likes. They just kind of are like a bull in a china shop and hope for the best. I don't know. Someone ripped him apart. Yet another lazy, lame piece of shit,
Yeah.
misusing the love languages to excuse his selfish thoughtlessness. Yeah, everyone rips him apart here.
Yeah. He's kind of out of line.
Mm.
And by using that as an excuse, um,
Yeah, it's bad.
that is a bad one.
Anyways, this has been the Razor Standard
Bye.
Podcast Special Mom Edition,
Thank you, Josh.
and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
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 Good job.
That was fun.
I told you to have fun with that.